Undrafted armchair quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the games, players, and the big stories shaping sports right now.
We want you to be a part of it too. Drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all and bring them into future shows. And we just love it if you guys hit like and subscribe. Join our conversation every week for free on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen. Good morning, Joe. What's going on?
A lot's going on, not only in the sporting world, but with the weather up here in North Georgia. We've been trapped in the 30s, 20s, 30s. It iced, 2 weeks ago this Saturday will be 2 weeks. It iced. There's still ice in my driveway. I'm in Georgia, but luckily I just keep thinking and reading and seeing that pitchers and catchers report in like 6 days. So the ice and the snow, it's melting. The weather's looking better. We're going to be in the 60s next week. There's hope.
Did you just say pitchers and catchers reporting?
Yes.
That's in just a few days.
Pitchers and catchers report. I have it written down here because I stare at it every day. The 10th of February, the first pitchers and catchers will report. I love it.
And the first spring training game is games are on February 20th. Folks, yes. Baseball is not coming.
Upon us. It's literally upon us.
I can't wait.
It's a diamond in the rough, and by rough, I mean rough weather. It's a diamond in the rough weather, and I can't wait. Listen, this weekend I'm doing stuff around the house. I look at the TV. I've got Torrey Pines. Everybody's wearing short sleeves and shorts. Torrey Pines, the Farmers Open. Didn't watch much of the golf because Justin Rose had like a 47-stroke lead, since Friday. Not very exciting. So in that sense, it wasn't. And by the way, I don't want to jump right into golf or anything, but if I hear Bruce Koepka's name one more time for just give me a week off. The guy was never even in contention, barely made the cut, and all I heard about was Bruce Koepka back on tour. Come on. But anyways, I digress.
Joe, did you know that Brooks Koepka went to Florida State?
I did know that.
You don't have anything to throw at me right now, do you?
Thanks to, listen, at least he doesn't ever pick up his ball and fumble it or anything like that. So I don't know. Yeah, I got nothing.
Oof.
I don't dislike Bruce at all, but let's face it. He's not a bad guy, but he's not that exciting to listen to, and his golf game isn't exciting to watch right now. So they're making such a big deal out of it. Like, don't give Liv that much, lofty honor that a live golfer's back on tour. Let's talk about him for 9 hours in a golf telecast. Wait till he starts playing well. But let's go back to baseball. Baseball is right around the corner. I cannot wait. Lots going on. Your Dodgers, they probably just bought 5 more players to guarantee a World Series and all that. I was watching though. If you want to watch baseball, there is this underlying thing going on with baseball and television. Have you seen any of that? Because it's kind of interesting, really.
MLB TV.
MLB TV. So I did not know this, but you probably know you can subscribe to MLB TV like NFL Ticket and all that. But things have changed because of all the bankruptcy, failure, low viewership of all these regional sports packages like Bally, who was here for the Braves and other things. Now, when those regional networks, when they file bankruptcy or they terminate the contract because they can't afford it, all those rights go back to MLB. So there's a whole list of teams: Arizona, Cleveland, Miami, Minnesota, San Diego, Seattle, Tampa Bay. The list is pretty long now and growing. Now, for $99, you can watch those teams who have now backed out or had to come back to the MLB because of the regional networks. Now you can watch those teams for $99 a year. You can watch the Miami Marlins if you're not in their network or in their town or their local market. So that's great. I think it's good.
I love it. Baseball, bring it.
Baseball's back. Yeah, so check out MLB.tv if you're a fan. Obviously, if you're in New York and you've got Yes, No, you're not going to be able to watch, the New York Yankees on the road and all that. But, for these teams that are in the smaller markets and all that, Cincinnati Reds, stuff like that, yeah, you'll have a chance to watch them. Um, Something else going on, NBA, the trades. You and I have talked about this. I keep up with the NBA, like the NBA as a sport, try to keep up with the NBA as far as keeping my finger on it. Not an expert. Maybe we should have an expert on one day as we get closer towards, as the season starts getting more towards the playoffs. We can have an expert come on and catch everyone up on where things going. But have you looked at any of the trades? Anything catch your eye?
I'm going to be Captain Obvious here, and it's the James Harden trade from the Clippers to the Cavaliers.
Yes.
And the only thing I guess I have to add to it is that he denied asking for a trade, and he said that he's grateful that he's being traded to, getting back home.
Yes. Yes.
How many teams has James Harden played for? How many teams has he not played for?
Well, I was going to say that list might be shorter. To be honest with you, because of all of that history, I had to look this up. I just keep thinking that Harden is, like 50 years old. And, he's now, because of his walker or cane in the way, he's only averaging, 11 points a game. I was wrong.
Yeah.
He is old. He's 36 compared to, LeBron that's young. But he's still averaging 25 points a game and 8 assists, not to mention close to 5 rebounds. He's still a premier player. Going to Cleveland, I think that's probably a great deal for both teams. Clippers get kind of a younger player who's only 36 and 26 and still, scoring quite a, he's 18 points a game. And then of course, I think with the run that Cleveland's trying to make, this is probably a good deal for them.
And it is a good deal. There's still the big rumors about Giannis, and I'm going to try to pronounce his last name in some
You can do
future
it.
show after I practice. But Giannis from the Bucks.
Yes.
And then this morning I see a picture of him. It's AI where they put the jersey with him with a Lakers jersey on, and I'm like, oh no. And then a buddy of mine, James in Houston, who watches our show, subscribes, he sends me a GIF, which I sent to you the other day, and it's Giannis with a LA Dodgers jersey on, but it's a basketball jersey. It was hilarious. Right. And he goes, how can this has to stop? The Dodgers can't do this anymore. It's not fair to the sport. He's saying the Dodgers are going to get Giannis.
It would not surprise me. And basketball is just below baseball on, the ability to somehow manage your, cap and your contracts to just keep getting and being able to afford, kind of whoever you want. Baseball, is at the peak of that mountain. But hey, the Lakers, they're managing LeBron's minutes a little bit better, it looks like to me. I just watched them the other day. And, Luka is still Luka. So, it wouldn't shock me just in the ability of these teams to kind of work around, the cap or whatever it is. I don't even know if you want to call it that. But, having said that, I'll be honest with you. One of the trades that just really got my attention, though, the Grizzlies, who are, out of the playoffs right now, they trade half their team to the Jazz for half their team, plus 3 first-round picks. Neither team is in playoff contention. Listen, I don't know enough about each player to see if there was a real advantage or disadvantage in this trade, but it's just kind of funny. There's literally 5 players going, crossing each other in the air on the way to, the other team, along with 3 first-round picks. Just kind of a, wow, I guess you're just revamping the whole thing. It just seems to me like, I don't know, you're getting like, it's like you're buying used cars. You know what I mean? Like, hey, they're good cars, nothing wrong with them, but, you're trading one used car for another. Oh, well, hey, I'm not a GM, right?
Right. You're not an expert
Luckily.
Free Valentine's Day clearance. All right, we'll take half of your team. You give us half of ours. Okay. Yeah. Great.
And I sincerely mean this. Luckily for any NBA team, I'm not a GM for them. Yeah, so we'll have an expert on. I know an expert when I see one. There's someone we can kind of. For those of you out there who are huge NBA fans, like I said, I love the game, love the sport, keep up with it fairly well. But you deserve a little bit better information, content. So we'll do that for you.
Yeah, I can't wait. And guests on our show are coming in the future. Can't wait.
Absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah, some of our, subscribers out there have asked if we, will have guests or can have guests for certain subjects. It's like NASCAR. I follow NASCAR. I love NASCAR. NASCAR season's coming up. Daytona 500 is only, a couple weeks away, which really makes me feel warm and fuzzy, literally, because it's going to get much warmer. But not a NASCAR expert. I try to be, but I'm not. So maybe we can have somebody who knows a lot about NASCAR on as that season gets going.
I got somebody in mind for that. Most
Sounds good.
definitely.
Yeah. And you know how you can tell an expert if someone is a NASCAR expert or not? It's what they call that thing under the hood. If they call that thing under the hood an engine, they probably know a little bit about NASCAR. But if they call it a motor, they're good to go. So we
Gotcha.
know. Yeah. So there you go. Something going on Friday other than our other podcast, our upcoming podcast on Friday to talk about the Super Bowl. We'll get to that in a minute. But other than that, what's going on Friday?
The Olympics
What? Is
in
it finally here?
two different cities in Italy.
Wow.
And for the United States viewer, the games or the events are going to be 6 to 9 hours ahead. So on TV, it's going to be a lot of early morning for the live viewing. So beware of that. There's going to be the
Yes,
big time difference is going to be a factor.
that's right.
I'm looking forward to it. The Olympics, Winter Olympics, we've talked about it on a couple of shows before this. The big story is Lindsey Vonn.
That is a big story. Yes,
And it's not the first time that she has tried to ski despite injury.
that's correct. Yes, I was listening to her comments. For those of you who don't know, she tore her ACL, but and by the way, that was like recently, not last summer. This was recent. I think it was in the World Cup in Switzerland or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
She still plans to ski in the Olympics, and according to her, she has done this before. Now, I don't know to what degree. I don't know, if it was, a big tear. Or I don't know. But apparently, she thinks, yeah, of course it will affect her, but she still can compete at a very high level despite this injury.
And I can't wait to see it because I've always admired her. And she's 41 years old. So think about that too. She's 41 and she's going to still try to strap that brace on. She says, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go when I'm going 85 miles an hour and I got to do my rotational turns and stuff, but I'm going. It feels pretty good. I'm not in pain. Man, I
Yeah,
think it's a great story.
it's an unbelievable story. And by the way, even if she was, throwing countries out there, Canadian or Swiss, it would be a great story. But the fact that she's, an American representing USA makes it even, more cool to me. I just looked, yeah, she tore her knee up on January 30th. So, 5 days ago in a crash in the Swiss, the World Cup in Switzerland. It makes me wonder, how hard was she going knowing the Olympics are coming up? I'm not saying one is more important than the other to her, but you'd think the Olympics would hold a little bit more value. But, hey, maybe she wasn't going that hard and that's why it happened. I don't know. But that's fantastic. I look forward to that. And, the other thing about the Olympics, this keeps coming up. If you're not following it, I wasn't either, but it just keeps popping up.
Fun facts.
Yeah, on all my fun fact stuff. But, because of the way Italy has either decided or needs to organize these Olympic games with the different, venues being, you can't do it all on one mountain. So they're moving it around. Because of this, they're literally having simultaneous open ceremonies. So you're having Milan, which is obviously a very large city in Italy. You're having it there, but you're also having it in Cortina, another city. So it's kind of first time in history you're having like opening ceremonies in one country, but at two different venues. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and isn't there some controversy about that? There's some traditionalists are in an uproar, not happy
Yes.
about it. Yeah,
There is. And the controversy is, well, there used to be one flag bearer for every country as they parade out in opening ceremonies. We've seen it a million times. Well, over the years, they said, giving that honor to one person is a little restrictive. Let's give it to two people. So they had two flag bearers for each country allowed. Maybe Jamaica in the Winter Olympics might only have one flag bearer because they have one person. Other countries have a lot, so they gave two flag bearers. Well, because Italy has two venues where the opening ceremonies are being held, they've allowed Italy to have four flag bearers, two at each site. This it's been approved by the IOC, but apparently a lot of countries that don't like this at all. It's it's kind of ruined the tradition of having, just two flag bearers. Anyways, it's kind of interesting how I guess, listen, it's like, wow. Some people have called it a circus, diluting the tradition of a unified national representation. But I guess the only comeback to that would be get a life, I don't know. Hey,
And it's good. It's good for the Italian flag making business. And
you
once
know
the
what?
events, once the events start, they're going to forget about all this.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe, or maybe they'll use that as an excuse on why the Italians had an advantage. And flags are important. Hey, it's like, look at the Swiss. I mean, they have a lot of things about their country that I really like. And when you look at their flag, I mean, it's a plus, Whoa, hey, yo,
He'll
yeah.
be
So,
here all week, folks.
yeah, try the salmon. So we're going to keep an eye on the Olympics. There's a lot of little things to talk about. I don't know if we'll get to a lot of the things. We've talked about the technology of the suits and all that. Should the gold medal go to the athlete or the engineers of the toboggan sled? Maybe they should share it. But we do have an American skater, though, who is catching a lot of attention because apparently he's the only one in the world that can do like a quadruple, whatever they call it. I'm going to call it a spin. Sorry, all you ice skaters out there. But yeah, apparently this guy is like unbelievable in his athleticism and, has some moves that only he can do. So, anyways, we've talked about it. I like the Winter Olympics.
Me
I
too.
like the different sports. We don't get to see them a lot. We're underdogs in most of them. I like it.
Looking forward to it, man.
Me too. We'll keep up with it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's see. Let's move on to the NCAA. College basketball's in full swing. College baseball, by the way, has started. The Maine Bears will be making their, annual trip down to the South to play the first month of their season down here. But love college sports, obviously. We've been worn out. It has been fatiguing watching all the crap going on with college football and the NIL, the transfer portal, the lawsuits. I mean, aside from the great fatigue from watching so much great football, I'm sick of it, man.
And it's not just football, it's football now in the portal and basketball. And what made major headlines is the Rowdy Reptiles student section at the University of Florida summed it all up. They're watching a player, Charles Bediaco, playing for Alabama last weekend at O'Connell Center in Gainesville. And the students at the Rowdy Reptiles were chanting, G League dropout,
Yeah,
G League dropout.
love it.
How did this all happen? He's a professional NBA G League player. Now he's playing for Alabama? Head scratcher.
It's more than a head scratcher. It's infuriating if you are like a lot of us who, we get it. There's exceptions, there's injuries, blah blah blah. But and I don't want to say a purist, if you just simply expect a relative level playing field, and it's never been level, the Ohio States of the world can do a lot more than the Kent States of the world. But I'm talking about, just a level playing field on who can play and who cannot. Okay. And this is a joke. Charles Bediaco, and don't hate the player, hate the game, right? So he plays for Alabama and he plays 2 years. So he enters the NBA draft. He gets drafted, signs a contract with the San Antonio Spurs, plays in the G League. He's playing in the G League. I don't know what they make on average, but they're professionals. So he's playing professional basketball.
He
And he
can
says,
eat.
what's that?
He can eat.
He can
He
eat.
gets paid enough. Yeah.
He's making money. So he sits there one day, and I'm not putting words in his mouth or in his brain. I'm just saying something happened where he says, "Hey, wait a minute. I'd like to go back to college because I still have 2 years of eligibility, right? I only played 2 years." So he sues because they said, "No, you signed a professional contract. You are done." He didn't like that answer, or his agent didn't, or his family didn't, and he sues the NCAA. And guess what? Do you know what the NCAA's record is in lawsuits?
Ofer?
It sucks. So guess who loses? The NCAA. So guess what? He returns to the Alabama Crimson Tide this January, and now he's playing for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm sure he's getting NIL money. I would venture to say the NIL money is better than what he would get in the G League. And here's the problem, in my opinion. Not that Alabama's playing with an unfair, 24-year-old, 23-year-old who's been playing professional basketball for 2 years. Not that that's the problem. How many other G League players or how many other NBA players, 12th guy on the bench, literally have college eligibility still remaining, who can say, I'll go play for Duke or the Miami Hurricanes or the Tar Heels or Kansas? It can easily get a $2-3 million, which is probably better or around the same they're getting already. But now they can play. Now they can be a superstar. Now they can be, a key part of the team versus sitting on the bench all the whole time or playing in the G League where, only the dedicated fans watch. It's a joke.
It is. And some of those players might be scratching their heads and going, maybe I shouldn't go back to college and play because Bediako and the Alabama Crimson Tide got blown out by the Gators last Saturday. I think it was
Listen,
Saturday game. Got
you know
blown
what?
out.
And by the way, even as a neutral fan, don't love either team, don't dislike either team, you got to be a little happy, right? Any team that's kind of like cheating, legally cheating, doesn't matter. I just think it's just another can of worms because the way the courts work, at least in this country, and I know, once you have a ruling, it's a precedence. Not guarantees future decisions, but it certainly influences future decisions because all lawyers have to say is, this was a similar situation, and this is how it ruled, and judges just go along with that. So you could literally have an influx of pro players coming back to college.
Yeah. And there's another player just before the show in our green room. You were bringing up somebody that is applying for their, drum roll please, 8th year of eligibility in football, college football.
It goes hand in hand with this last story, although Joey Aguilar has not played professional basketball or
Right.
football. But, here's another thing, right? So you've got the NIL. You've got uncontrolled NIL. And as a Miami Hurricane fan, listen, we're benefiting from it. I understand that. But even I don't like it because it's just uncontrolled Wild West. Now we're talking about Joey Aguilar. Okay, nothing personal. But Joey Aguilar is suing, keyword, the NCAA for an 8th year of eligibility. I'm having to look down at my phone because I couldn't keep up with where he's been and what he's done. But here's how it's all 8th year. How many times has he been injured?
Can't wait
None.
to see this.
None. Okay, well, how can he do this then? 2019, enrolled at a junior college, redshirt. Okay, for a year. 2020, no season, COVID. A lot of players got an extra year for that. 21, goes to another JUCO, plays 10 games. All right, well, there's 1 year down. 22, plays 6 games at the same JUCO, 2 years down. 23, plays 14 games at Appalachian State, 3 years down. 24, plays another 11 games at Appalachian State. There's your 4 years. Wait a minute, that's 4 years. Wait, transfers to Tennessee, plays 13 games. Okay, this is his second senior year. There's your 5 seasons. But, well, wait a minute. He's applying for an 8th because of precedence by Pavia and because they said playing 1 year JUCO doesn't count. That's how he got a 7th year.
It's crazy.
Now he wants an eighth year because he's saying, well, my other year at JUCO doesn't count. Basically, what he's saying is none of my years at JUCO counted towards my college eligibility.
It just sounds like the theme here is just you want to do whatever you want in college sports. Just sue the NCAA.
Apparently, that's how you get anything you want because you know the NCAA is going to lose their lawsuit. And you know what? I'm not saying I don't know enough about the cases to say, they're right or wrong. But where does it stop, man? Where does it stop a 31-year-old who only went to college for 2 years and decided to do something else and comes back? At some point, there's a difference between an 18-year-old, their maturity, their physical maturity, their muscle development and their growth, and a 25-year-old. And some people can argue Indiana had a big advantage last year because their athletes were older, not just mentally, but physically, and that's okay. They played within the rules, right? But I don't know. Something's got to change, man. Because college sports is different than we've ever seen it before. It's unrecognizable from 5, 6, 10 years ago. And I think it's just going to get worse and worse until something happens. Listen, we got a big game coming up on Sunday. It's called the Super Bowl. If you're not familiar with that, we are going to have a show on Friday to talk about the Super Bowl. But before we get there, there's a couple things that have been going on. What do you think about some of the coaching hires or anything out there? Anything catching your attention?
Your Raiders,
Love that.
JoJo. And I
Glad
think
you
we
brought that
talked
up.
about it too. I said that they should go after Kubiak. He's got the bloodlines. His dad was a head coach, and this kid grew up with a football, slept with a
Yes.
football, learned the game, played the game. And if they're going to go out and get him, I think that is a great hire.
I do
Get
too.
him.
I do too. He's young, so he can be there for a while. I think he's 38 years old, which is great.
Yep.
He's been the offensive either coordinator or passing game coordinator for 5 different teams since obviously with the Seahawks right now as offensive coordinator. He's turned their offense around. Don't
Big
forget
time.
he was the offensive coordinator for Minnesota back in 21.
Yeah.
So been there a long time. You've already said it. His coaching tree is unbelievable. A lot of people call him quarterback whisperer kind of guy. He can
Mm-hmm.
really make good quarterbacks much better and average quarterbacks good. This obviously is related to the Raiders picking Mendoza first overall. So that's probably a done deal. Now, remember, they can't actually sign Kubiak till after the Super Bowl. But hey, listen, he'll be yet another father and son head coach tandem in NFL, which that list is pretty short.
Yep. And I know you deserve this.
Thank you.
If he does pan out, it would be good for the NFL to see the Raiders get back to not just respectability, but get back to being one of the best teams in the NFL. They bring that mystique, that aura, and we could just go on and on and on about it, but I would love to see the Raiders have success. And if you get Mendoza because you decline a draft day trade proposal from the Miami Dolphins, you can have Mendoza, and all the best to the Raiders. All the best, man. He's going to be a great hire. Kubiak.
I'm excited about it. I mean, unlike,
Me too.
I've got a Buffalo friend who's a fan. He doesn't like the promotion, of their OC, but I love this hire. Sam Darnold described Kubiak as a, just a grinder. He's there at 4 a.m., every day. I love this hire for the Raiders. And even though he's a first-time head coach, he's a long-time NFL guy. So I'm loving it. So we'll see what happens. Friday's episode, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show. We're going to talk about everything Super Bowl. So prepare to get super bold on Friday.
I love it. Snoop Menace just said, what?
Oh,
wait till we talk about how many billions of dollars are going to be spent on the Super Bowl: food, merchandise, drink, all that. We're going to have a fun show on Friday. I cannot wait.
Look forward to it. No, listen, we're going to talk all things Super Bowl. So let's do it, man. So we'll see you Friday. Man. And for everybody else, listen, tune in. Let's talk about it. So that's it.
Comments.
For this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
And drop those comments, folks. Please like us too. Hit subscribe. Tell your friends about us. And catch us for free every week right here on YouTube. Listen on Spotify. We're also on Instagram and TikTok. And thank you, Joe. Thank you,
All
everybody.
right. I look forward to it, man. See you Friday. Don't forget
Woohoo!
opening ceremonies. See ya.
Yeah,
Take
man.
care.